Just a quick thought, an analogy about, because I always have these little imaginary conversations in my mind this morning. I'm listening to Dennis Prager. He's on the happiness hour. So he's on the subject of happiness, which is very big to him. And he believes very, very sincerely and vehemently that happiness is a decision and it's immoral to be unhappy. And so if you decide to be happy, you will at least project an outward happiness that will bless or otherwise benefit other people. And if you don't, you won't. And that will bless people because you won't be projecting this inner happiness. And in my conversation, I thought I would mention to him that Christians believe that they must get the sin out of their life. And I was going to tell him, so Dennis, if you're listening, it doesn't work. It never works. It never has worked. And he might say, well, of course it does. When you determine to get sin out of your life, you do. And the analogy in my response or argument towards him would be, you have this finite amount of ability, and say it represents in a balloon. And the balloon is malleable. And so certain parts of the balloon you can just scrunch down to nothing. So there's just finite space, but it can stretch in other parts. So the Christian who decides and focuses on this one area of sin in their life, and say they drink or smoke or swear or something, and they scrunch that down to nothing, they just will it. Well, I believe the following is true, is that inevitably it just squishes out into another area, as in judging someone else or having religious pride, because now they no longer swear, for instance. So they may say that they do this for the benefit of others, so they can show others, see what the Lord has done for me. I no longer swear. But in essence, what it comes down to is you become prideful because you convinced yourself that you got rid of sin in your life. You have now tamed your flesh, which is a lie. It wasn't what the law was given for. It was never anything that God said we could do. He commanded it of us because we said we could do it. So he gave his contribution to this folly of thinking that man can become like God, which all started in the garden. Just learn about good and evil, become like God. Now it's obey the laws and become just like God, become just like Jesus Christ, who is God. And all it does is we squeeze that down to almost nothing, and it just pushes out into another area, and you end up being very unkind or mean or even ruthless to other people in the name of God, in the name of success, this alleged success you've attained by stymieing the tendencies and urges you have. And when you think about it, not just in that way, but think about it realistically, when it's your own flesh that's keeping your flesh down, it's only natural, it only makes sense that it's going to come out in some other area. But unfortunately, people convince themselves that because, well, I don't smoke anymore and I don't swear or whatever, that they're somehow holy. They're holy by their own efforts. Because I've seen it firsthand, just so you know. I'm not saying this in theory. I've seen it in firsthand, leaders that don't swear, that don't burst out in anger in a conventional way, but yet will laugh at someone's divorce and mock them and say, well, yeah, look at them now. Those people who left our sacred building, our house of God, or whatever they want to call it. And you think, my goodness, that's ugly, that's terrible. Well, what do you expect? You think you're getting holiness through your own efforts. And these same people will go to other buildings and mock them and compare. Think about what we're doing. And again, please don't think I'm pointing the fingers if I've never done this. I'm coming from a standpoint of I used to do this. I am not clean in this in any way, shape, or form. I want you to know, this is not a judgment thing. This is a please listen to me. I've been there. I've done that. I've been the judgmental person. It's just I don't want to be anymore. But I can't do it by myself. I can't free myself from it. I got to trust in the one. Completely become dependent on the one, the only one that can give me any kind of perspective, a true perspective, and give me the love that I don't have. I can't generate that love. I can't generate that goodness. I can't become a good person through principles of daily living, so-called, whether given to me by my building, my denomination, my favorite author, book writer, whatever. It's not going to happen. It's only by trusting in God. That's why it's so important to know who he is and what he's done for you. There's a very serious thing that's been done on your behalf. And determining in your own flesh to conquer your flesh for the sake of whatever, making the world a better place, is just, it's all folly, as it were, as the preacher would have said. It's all vanity, 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 all is vanity. It's just talking about man's efforts. Everything we do is for naught, but everything he does is eternal and good. And when you trust in that, then change actually starts to happen. But you can rest, and well, it's all on him. It's all his work. It's not mine. So trust in that and believe, and stop pushing the stuff around, pushing your sin around in that little finite balloon known as you, known as your wicked heart, and just trust in him. Let him come in and do all the work and repair and transformation that only he can do, because that's his business. That's what he does. It's not our business to transform ourselves. It's not our business to change ourselves. All we really can do is shift our sin around, is shift our ugliness around to different parts of ourselves. And if we become involved in the business of doing that, it's very dangerous, because then if you actually think because you quit doing sin X and you don't realize you're just doing sin Y 10 times as bad as you used to, you're in a bad place. You just need to fall in his mercy and grace, and be free in that, just right where you are in your own ugly little self. And then he'll start to beautify you and clean house as only he can. Thank you, Jesus. In Jesus' name.